Hermes, draw near, and to my prayer incline, in arts gymnastic and in fraud divine.
Dire weapon of the tongue which men revere, be present, Hermes, and thyself plant here.
Welcome to Third Eye Bind, Episode 20, Toxic Spirituality.
Nervous laughter. Well, hello, I'm Laura.
And I'm Kaitlyn.
And welcome to the Season 2 finale of Third Eye Bind.
Oh my gosh, 2 seasons. Go
Two
us.
seasons are done.
Mm-hmm. In this episode, we are discussing
Toxic
spirituality.
Ooh.
If you would like to support Third Eye Bind, we would love for you to leave reviews, share with your friends, subscribe if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or on YouTube. Leave us comments, please. It's amazing for our algorithm. Leave us reviews, please. It helps boost us. Share it with your friends. And if you love us, we would love for you to support us on Patreon. We have plenty of tiers, lots of options, and this is something that we are putting together ourselves, Laura, Mike, and we would love your support so that this podcast can continue to flourish and grow.
Amen to that.
Amen.
And
so it is.
so blessed be.
Blessed be. Oh, shit, I'm going to pull a tarot card.
I'm also today's,
forgot my job.
Today's topic, toxic spirituality.
Toxic spirituality. It's a big one.
It's a mountainous episode.
Truly
to
mountainous.
Cover. So we're going to do our best. This will probably be more than one part.
Absolutely.
So there will be another episode. What
I'm almost
is it going to
anxious
be?
to turn it over. The Wheel of Fortune. And honestly, this is perfect.
A major card.
A major.
I'm so happy.
We haven't pulled a major in a while,
I know.
I feel like. So
No.
the Wheel of Fortune
Okay.
is always turning. And 1 minute, it's all good. And before you know it, you've turned again and things are a little bit upside down, maybe a bit out of alignment, not so savory, not so truthful. And I think that this is a really good card for this toxic spirituality episode because there are so many things that get turned upside down, so many concepts that are beautiful and legitimate that get twisted and turned by this wheel of white supremacy, Christian puritanicalism, our favorite things
Extreme
to talk about.
religious.
Extremism. Narcissism. Like there are so many different things that can make the wheel turn really fast. And
Untreated
all of a
mental
sudden,
illness.
Untreated mental illness. Then all of a sudden, this thing that was supposed to be all good becomes something that's really fucked up really fast.
Really fast.
And the Wheel of Fortune reminds us that though things can be turned upside down and turn into something that isn't helpful or at worst is quite harmful, we're also able to see that wheel turn right side up again.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we need to abandon spirituality or to turn our back on our spiritual selves entirely, because that would be to deny a part of your humanity. Humans are spiritual beings. But it is our responsibility to have an awareness of when things are being turned upside down, and to make the conscious decision to fix our own relationship to these things so that we are not continuing to perpetuate harm. I'm not saying it's impossible for it's possible for any of us at any time to get stuck in the upside down, but we are all also very capable of turning it back around and making it right.
Yeah. You need to pick apart what isn't helpful You can still retain your spirituality. You can still be a channel or a vessel, but you need to remove the filter that isn't harmful, the filter of white supremacy, the filter of religious extremism, the filter of denial,
of idolizing a person,
of idolatry. Yeah.
Where do we even
Of addiction.
Of addiction.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Absolutely. I have some stuff about addiction in my notes.
Right. No, I think that's important to know that if you're drawn, you're stuck in a situation, that doesn't mean you have to abandon your entire spiritual self. Maybe you need to do that for a while to cleanse, but that doesn't invalidate that you're a spiritual being.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just means you kind of got off track, and
absolutely, that happens to all of us
in different degrees. Maybe you just need some education or some help or some advice.
But there's always a way back to your path.
Yes.
Always. No matter how lost you may feel, no matter how far gone you may be, there's always a way there's a way back to the path of your authentic spiritual self. But there are a lot of toxic spirituality traps out there, and we're going to do our best to talk about as many of them as we can in one episode. But there's so fucking much.
A lot.
There's so much, like, dangerous,
confusing,
like, varying degrees of danger.
Varying degrees of danger, and they're often hidden in plain sight.
Absolutely.
And designed to hide the nefarity underneath.
Absolutely. It's insidious. That's true. Some of that shit. Oh my God, look at your candle.
I know.
Because we're talking about the stuff today.
Where does this desire come from for people, particularly white people, to do this shit? I don't have a word. Like, to create these traps, these spiritual holes for people to fall. Like, where does that desire
I think
come
it's like
from?
a weird genetic mutation. People are gonna fucking hate that shit. But honestly, and I'm not saying that you're not.
I'm here for it.
White people aren't. I don't want to dismiss that it takes free will and choice to uphold and pursue these types of dangerous things. But like that weird fucking power trip shit, like you get
it's ingrained.
Right? Like we all started in
us.
Africa. That's like the cradle of life. And I feel like as white folks spread farther and farther away from the equator, some like shit got fucked up.
Hey.
And then this like need for power grew and grew and grew. And it's like, what is that? Envy? Like what is it?
It's like this as a white person, I can tell you that it's there. But you have to be aware of it. And it's the need to like own things. It's the need to conquer things. It's this need to like, I think it's just because of the colonization mindset, honestly.
Yeah. But like, where did it start?
But where did I know? I'm like, what point? I think it's just the not having the experiences of Black and brown people. I think it's not knowing that sort of.
Yeah.
But even
before,
I know, but it's so
like, we
buried.
Had pagans.
I know, but it's so. I mean, for us now, as people, like it's harder to empathize.
Yeah. Because
it's further, and that's what people need to understand, is that we've all at some point been there. But I mean, it's just. We're not going to have an answer right now, but it is that's a question I often have is like, where, because the shit that white people do, it's bananas. Like
wild.
just the shit that I'm like, it's a white thing. And I'm just like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
up with that? Yeah.
Charles Manson, Teal Swan, Keith Rainier,
Lori
Shalia
Vallow,
Onion. Yep.
which I'll get into later because I just watched that shit.
Yeah.
It's this power trip of like, it's a power trip.
Like narcissism.
Narcissism. And I think like the white privilege mixed with the narcissism
Makes quite
can
a potent,
combust.
quite a potent
I think
cocktail.
it can combust and create, it's just like a powder keg.
Truly.
Well,
So,
okay.
fucking toxic spirituality. Okay, speaking of like weird white people shit, I don't know if you've read The Secret.
Oprah's The Secret?
The Secret.
Oprah's
Oprah did
endorsed
endorse
The
The
Secret?
Secret, but Oprah's also
that-
endorsed, and I
I
love
know.
Oprah. Don't
We
get
love
me
Oprah.
wrong.
We love Oprah.
Or Oprah's endorsed some weird shit.
But that's where I
in
heard
the
of it.
past. But
Yeah, like the
The
guy that put the
Secret-
people in the sweat lodges.
we can't
that-
always. Yeah, we don't always
don't-
make
we
good
don't win 'em
choices.
all.
we can't win them
hey,
all.
we can't win 'em all.
we can't win them all.
Do a lot of good. Do some.
But
move on.
manifestation, specifically when we think about it from The Secret, which is something that became very popular in the last 20
Yeah.
or so years, is absolutely an example of toxic spirituality. It is bootstraps ideology repackaged as new age garbage. And I remember listening it on audiobook on my way to and from work every day. And at that time I was working in the fashion district downtown.
Yeah.
And to drive from East LA to the apparel district, you drive through Skid Row every day. And I remember listening to this person on the audiobook telling me that you create your own circumstances. So if it's bad, you made it bad. You chose that. And looking around and thinking like, no, the fuck not. No, the people on Skid Row are making the best of a situation that was forced upon them by our shitty government that doesn't mind, that needs to unhouse people, that needs to displace people in order for capitalism to thrive. So that's like some bullshit. But I think that's some major like also gaslighting to say that you are entirely responsible for your own reality. Like, look, I do think we can all make choices to change the circumstances that we're in, but that shit takes fucking time and resources. And if you're busy trying to survive, like, where do you find that? Where do you find the time and space for that?
People are powerful. We are powerful. As witches, we believe our power is inherent in ourselves, but we are not all powerful.
Right. We're not gods.
We are not gods. We are a product of our environment and our socioeconomic situations. And that's reality.
Yes.
So to take away the circumstances, it's like saying, oh, I don't see color.
Yeah.
Like, well,
If you
you
just
better
work
start
hard,
because
if you just work hard,
we're
it'll
not
be
all
different.
equal.
Exactly. We're
I'm
not
sorry.
all
I wish
equal.
that were the case, but we're not.
Not everybody has had the same head start.
No.
And like
No.
that couldn't be more evident when you look around. Like Los Angeles has a huge unhoused problem.
Yeah.
And when you look around and see who's displaced, it's all black and brown folks.
Right.
While like white tech bros move into our low income communities and turn our $1,500 rents into $3,000 rents. And it's like, none of the people of this neighborhood willed that to happen.
Yeah. And that's what's toxic. That's a baseline trait of a lot of this toxic spirituality is that they just love and light, love you so much, love you, love it. The love and light situation is toxic because you're glazing over all of these realities that people face and all of these circumstances that affect people's lives with this, we're all equal, love and light. I love you though.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's just ignoring the fucking problem.
Yes, it ignores systemic
doesn't do
oppression.
anything
You're
to help.
right.
Nothing.
It ignores.
That's Christianity, like you've said. That's Christianity in disguise.
Yeah,
The bad kind.
absolutely.
That's scary.
It is scary.
It scares the shit
Yeah.
out of me. Honestly, this type of stuff scares me because it's so, it's just so creepy. It's just so conniving.
Yes, it's
And
insidious.
It's insidious, and it's like,
It's gross.
and it's just, it's magnified by the intent of all of these love and light people and the secret people believing that they're doing something good when they're not. Because what do
Just
white
like
people
white
hate?
Christians.
Being told that they're wrong and that they can't have something and that they're doing something the wrong way.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
No. And then they tell you, like, that's another thing. Like, if you call someone out, or even just call them in, if you express your rage, your discomfort, they're like, you have to check yourself. Like, that's low vibrational. You haven't mastered your emotions.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
You just don't understand yet where
Yes.
I'm at on my spiritual journey. You just don't quite get it.
Yes.
That's gaslighting. And
Toxic positivity.
that's where you're not listening. You're not listening to the feelings of others. It's a self-feeding system. The only thing you're feeding with love and light is yourself.
Yeah.
You're not
Literally,
it's just, I'm thinking of a hamster on a wheel, just like do, like blinders on. And you know what? I understand why people are drawn to that. If you had a lot of trauma, you just want to it's a dissociative. It's dissociative, but it's also this righteous dissociativeness that is fucking scary.
right? Like, everybody's had fucked up shit happen to them at this point. Like, we are all varying degrees of traumatized, and like, we still have to check back into the world around us.
Yeah. It's just not healthy.
It's not healthy.
To just, and I understand that people have, that maybe that's why people do that.
Yeah, how we get there.
But you have to learn how to get yourself out of that mindset and out of those communities, because they're using the knowledge of our authentic ancestors, witches, pagans, magicians, to assimilate people into their like pseudo-Christian love and light bullshit. They've been doing that for a very fucking long time.
Literally since the church started.
Literally.
That's been their jam.
That's the thing.
And even when you think about like the Roman Empire and how Rome would conquer people's gods and rename them under the Roman pantheons, like, this is like tool number one of imperialists, and it's fucked up.
That's why, in Greek mythology, like Aphrodite is Aphrodite, and then in Roman, she's Venus.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just a different name.
Yeah.
Zeus is what?
Juno.
Juno.
Yeah.
Or no, Juno's Hera.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know,
Well,
but they're
then,
different.
Like, a lot of spirits from other countries, as the Roman Empire continued to grow, they would rename them. Like, that's not Hathor, that's Athena of this place. Like, that's not right. Like, they would rename local spirits, and then the church did the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not your goddess, that's Our Lady of Mercy, that's Mary. But the joke's on them, because Mary likes to show you who she's been used to cover up.
Yeah.
She's like, follow me, come this way.
There you go.
But then I feel like that's why later Christian sects don't embrace Mary. Like, Mary's not allowed anywhere except Catholicism. They don't do Mary. And I think it's because they realize that Mary's like, fuck you.
That's so interesting because, I mean, as much as, Catholicism sucks too, it's like, it's interesting because I don't know a lot about religion, but it's interesting to me how much more metal Catholicism is than Christian, like the differences in what they're willing to do.
Catholicism
ritually versus not. It's very interesting.
It is.
It's very interesting.
They've kept a lot of the pagan vibe in the Catholic Church, and the aesthetic is great.
But
they're trash. Don't get me wrong. fuck that.
But yeah, but I mean, look, if we're going to pick one.
But it's also the reason why, like, a lot of folks who were conquered or colonized by the Catholic Church, and like Catholic Church, don't get me wrong, very violent, very fucked up.
Yeah.
But the reason why so many of us are able to connect to our ancestral practices is because a lot of the Catholic practices, they would just like rename pagan practices or rename indigenous practices or incorporate them in. So our ancestors were able to hold on to things.
Right.
But this isn't like an argument for the Catholic Church.
No.
Like,
But
the Catholic
that's
Church
a
is
fact.
horrible, but it's a fact.
That's a fact and a thing you can use to find information.
Yeah. Versus like Latter-day Saints, which is some like weird.
Are we going to get into LDS
made
right
up, like golden salamander. What the fuck?
now? Have you heard of the All-American Prophet? Look, everything I know about the fucking Mormon church, I know from Book of Mormon. Period. End of story. Done. Like, that's all I know. So
I still haven't
quiz me.
seen it. I would love to see it though. I've definitely watched some like documentaries
That's a
about
song
Mormons.
I just sang from the Book of Mormon.
I would love to see it.
I can tell you, this is what I know about. So there was a guy named Joseph Smith, and he found some books, and then he said, hey, this is the way, and then everyone gets their own planet. That's what I know about Mormon.
I watched The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I learned a lot about Mormonism from that.
The Garden of Eden wasn't, where is it? Babe, where is the Garden of Eden? They believe it was in Florida, right? Jackson County,
the fuck
Missouri. No, Jackson County, Missouri.
Then how did they all end up in Utah?
I am a Mormon, and a Mormon just believes.
Yeah, literally.
That's what you need to fucking watch the show. Oh my God, we should go see it. I think they're touring.
Well,
Anyways,
Christian universalization outside of the Latter-day Saints has certainly found its way into New Age spaces, New Age spirituality. And I see it a lot on the TikTok. I see a lot of the kids talking about 5D ascension, and that shit is the rapture.
hold on.
That's the rapture. Only God's chosen people are going
The 144,000 or whatever?
Some shit like that.
Okay. That has to do with the documentary I was watching last night. Very much so.
The LDS, the extreme LDS, right?
Extreme LDS. I'm going to go into
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Go
this
into it.
woman, there's this documentary on Netflix called Sins of Our Mother. And it's about this woman named Lori Vallow who went batshit crazy and got really deep into Mormon shit and met this wannabe cult leader guy named Chad, because
Of
that's
course
the
his name is
perfect name for Chad. And she would say things like, I spoke to angels. I think she was having spiritual experiences that were exacerbated by her extremism.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that fucked her up. And so what happened was her brother killed her. She sent her brother to kill her husband,
That's right. Yeah.
killed him.
And he got away with it.
He did, but then he died.
But then he died of natural causes.
Natural. He had a heart attack. She murdered her husband. She murdered her kids. She murdered her Chad's ex-wife or whatever. They killed her somehow. They're not going to, they're guilty. Okay. But she murdered her kids. But the thing about what you said about the 5D ascension or whatever, that's the kind of shit they were texting about.
Yes.
Chad said he had the ability to look at someone and know if they were a light or dark entity.
Light or dark.
Chad.
Sounds racist.
Yeah. But also just there were different levels like that. Like,
Yeah.
and one of her kids, they had her listed
That's
as like
right.
a 4D, which is demon. They thought people were demons. She thought her husband that she killed was possessed by a demon named like Nick.
And she thought like her daughter too,
Yeah,
right?
I don't
was
know.
like a dark spirit.
Yeah, they had her
Yeah.
listed as a dark spirit, and they needed to kill those people because they were zombies.
Right, that was the only way. The only way to save someone is to murder them.
To what do you call it? Like expel them from their body.
Yeah,
To murder them.
to kill the vessel.
So her oldest son survived this whole thing because he was old enough to not be involved with this. But hearing her in jail talking to him, and he's like, "Mom, how could you do this? Like, what is wrong with you?" And she's like, I love you. You just don't understand. Love and light. She's just shoving love and light. What are you talking about? I love my kids.
Delusion.
So yeah, that stuff is very, that sort of, where is that coming from? Is this coming from LDS? Is this like, I can't believe there are kids like saying that shit on TikTok.
Yeah, there's so many like new agers. Most of them are people who lack any connection to ancestrally guided spiritual practices. It's very like new age, like star seed, which by the way, if you don't know, I don't know if we've touched upon this, but like star seeds come from Nazism.
Yeah.
It's about a group of elite white aliens who are the greatest of all the races in the galaxy. So like, don't call yourself a starseed.
Don't call yourself a starseed.
That's like the
You're
vibe of this like 5D ascension, and people are talking about like tuning yourself to 5D, and I'm like, fucking don't show me anything by this creator anymore. No, thank you. But also I'm worried about y'all.
That's very concerning. Are these white kids?
It's a bunch of different kids. Honestly,
Okay.
it's a mix.
No, I'm just wondering.
It's a handful of like American kids. It's mostly American kids because Americans are so disconnected culturally from our roots. That's part of the indoctrination of the American dream.
I think that has a lot to do with it, because when you're rooted in like your ancestry and your blood and what you are, like that's
you're skeptical of that shit.
You're skeptical of that stuff.
Well, and even like aside from, what's her name? Lori and her cult, like
her cult of two people.
The rapture is something that you see in a lot of Christian sects, like Jehovah's, who are also a cult.
They thought the world was going to end on July 22nd of 2020.
And like 5D is that. They put a new label on it.
Wow.
It's that. Some other Christian ideologies that I see masquerading in New Age spaces, divine feminine and divine masculine. And like, first, these are terms from Hinduism that are misappropriated by the spiritual community at large. And like, I've even incorrectly used them early on before I knew better in my like spiritual
I probably did too.
practice, because I didn't fucking know better, right? But these concepts are being used to explain traditional gender roles, traditional American gender roles. They're like, your divine feminine is like somebody who rears children, your divine masculine, like it's just 1950s like bullshit type of stuff.
Like, I'm all for divine femininity, but not like that.
Like, I want to be like Aphrodite.
Like, I want to be like wild.
I want to be like the Empress card. I want to be like Athena. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, goddess energy, like spiritually feminine energy isn't just Aphrodite. It's also Athena, who's like running through the fucking woods barefoot with a bow and arrow, fucking shit up, like metal. It's so much more complex than the weird.
Well, we've talked about that before too. Like, goddess energy is chaotic.
Exactly.
And dark.
Yeah.
And not love and lighty. That's very weird.
I'm also seeing it in like the cottagecore and hedge witch corners of the internet. There's this resurgence of weird white puritanical gender roles. And like, listen, like, I'm a mom. I would love to just like take care of my kids and not work. That sounds fucking great, right? Yeah. But I choose that for myself, and I enjoy being a mom. Nobody forced that on me. It wasn't like the expectation. In fact, I defied expectations by becoming a parent. People were like, you really? Whoa. But also, in addition to enjoying being a mom, like my partner fucking helps. And not just in the weird like dad way, like goes above and beyond to fulfill like the needs of the household. Working hard is not enough at a day job. You need to wash the fucking dishes and put shit away the way I tell you to and fold the socks the way I like them folded.
I've noticed that too now that I think about it.
And there's going to be more of it coming out of the like hedge witch corner of the internet, the hearth witch
Because
corner of
I
the
consider
internet.
myself very hearth oriented, but like in no way, shape, or form do I preach that shit.
It's
That's
getting weird. Yeah.
What? You know what? I have noticed that shit because it's like I've noticed it more like aesthetically with people, where it's like, look, and this is a beautiful image. I'm not trying to like shit on this, but I have sort of. It's like cottagecore dress, apron, baby on the hip, which is beautiful. It's fine,
Love
but
it.
also
Love a baby on the hip, a baby
We
on
love
the boob,
that.
whatever.
yeah, but there's also like this weird tinge.
It's propaganda-ish.
There's a weird tinge to it, and you're absolutely fucking right about it. And I don't have like the language to express why that bothers me yet.
And I've even seen...
But as someone who does not have children and doesn't want to, because I'm actively taking a path less traveled, maybe the path that also maybe surprised people that I didn't have kids, kind of bothers me a little bit.
It's pretty icky. I've even seen like a few different posts of like women or femmes who, and like, I get it. We love vintage. It's cool.
Yeah.
But like channeling that like 1950s housewife vibe, that like Norman Rockwell, like Marlboro ad type of vibe. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, be subservient to your husband type of shit. And I don't like it.
Well, you know what? I see a lot of people too, like post like the revelry. I always get that word mixed up.
Reverie.
They're like really into, this is why I talk like I do and not use large words because I don't fucking know them. Reverence towards the 1940s style, like take me back to the 40s.
It's
when
like when
black people had no rights.
Yeah, and
like
when sailors were beating up my like Mexican family and
like,
shipping them back to Mexico.
And I see white people saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how about we don't go back to the 40s and 50s when things weren't really great for like
Fucked
gay
up.
people or like anybody other than white people.
Like, yes. And I think
you sound like an 80-year-old man. Like, stop.
the like shocking thing is like white women fucking forget that it fucking sucked for them too.
The fashion was
Their
cool, but
grandmas
like
were on like
Yeah.
uppers.
getting their brains scrambled with lobotomies and shit. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it fucked you over too.
Some like Kennedy shit. Like, what?
Exactly.
the fuck?
What are you romanticizing,
Like, look,
my friend?
Marilyn Monroe. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Tormented soul.
That poor woman
That poor woman.
went through so much fucking shit.
That poor woman.
You're gonna romanticize that and dress up like I just can't.
weird.
I can't
It's
do
some
the whole.
weird-
I can't.
That's some like weird like toxic positivity, like romanticizing
Yes.
another era that way.
I want to go back to the fucking like Azore Islands in the fucking like 1200s
Take me to,
when
like,
there was like
BC.
nobody. Yeah, take me to like BC. I don't want to be. You know what I
go to the
mean?
way,
I
way
want to be
back.
barefoot, beating a fox pelt or some
right?
shit.
Wherever
Like I don't.
I was supposed to be born on this earth is where I want
I
to
want to
be.
go meet my ancestors that like did magic shit for trade.
Yes.
I don't want to be in the 50s.
Take me to the pre-conquest,
I
not to
want
the
some-
fucking
God.
soda fountain
I want
trash.
real pagan shit, not some neo-pagan fucking new age
Fucking
weird shit.
crawly weirdo.
And look though, for real though, that's where I started because that's all the knowledge that was out in the 90s.
in the
you know
90s,
what I mean?
that's all there was.
Like if you didn't have a cultural background with magic, that's where you rocked it. Like
Yeah.
that's where you started. But like we said at the beginning, the wheel you get on the wheel somehow, right? You're on the wheel. You have to discern, use your discernment, and pick apart what is no longer serving you, what is not. It's like something that's got like dog hair on it. You need to pick off the fucking dog hair, get that roller out, and get rid of that stuff and really see what you're left with.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have foundations past all that shit, that's when you get caught up in this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of white people because America.
That's what America does. It like whitewashes our history and makes it go bye-bye.
Yeah.
Even like the history books are all fucking lies here.
Did we learn about in school, like the native, like, do we know what tribe's land we're on right now?
You don't learn that in school.
You don't learn that.
No.
Well, I was thinking that the other day. I was like, we should learn the tribes of the Americas and like where they were.
Yeah.
And there's more of that now, but it's like,
but it's not
more.
in school.
It
You
needs
have to learn
be
it
in
at
school.
home. Well,
So-
and now they're pushing like STEM. Everything is about like science, engineering, and computers. So like they don't even touch on.
Yeah. Wow, really?
Yeah. It's fucked up.
We're not going to heal that fucking trauma
It's on purpose.
until we confront it
They're trying to make
and
us all
offer
like
reparation for
exactly.
it. But okay,
Reparations and
An offering.
land back.
land back. Give the land back. I would gladly give the land back.
Well, and okay.
Anyway,
Some like trickster energy. Unless we recognize that a boundary is wrong and get kind of mad about it, we can't change it.
No.
And something toxic spirituality likes to do is to tell you that staying positive is the only way to change your reality. You have to see the best in everything. And like, fuck that. Like, if your job fucking sucks, if your boss is an asshole, you're allowed to be mad about it because
Yeah.
usually it's that rage, that goddess energy,
Yeah.
that dark goddess energy
Yeah.
that you channel is what and gives you the like audacity to do the things that you need to do to create change
Yeah.
in your life, whether it's through magic or through mundane means. Like, it helps give you the courage to start taking some chances on yourself and to change your circumstances. And a lot of new age spiritualists will say that like being angry is a sign that you need to do more inner work. You need to do more inner work.
any sort of rebellion is a sign that you need to do more inner work. You need to check yourself. You need to really balance your chakras or whatever.
Another
Fuck off.
misappropriation.
Chakras and yoga. I see this a lot. I do really love the practice of yoga and
Yeah.
breath work. I think it's really important. But dear God, is it appropriated?
So much of
What the fuck?
Hinduism is misappropriated. One of our questions for today is actually about chakras.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Okay.
it
And
makes
the,
me
like-
want to cough up a hairball.
The like weirdness around anger is two things. One, it like keeps the oppressed. Like,
Yeah.
don't get angry.
Don't get angry.
Be complacent. And two, it's also something that gaslighted me and probably a lot of other people when I was in AA. They tell you that there's no justifiable anger if you're an addict. You're not allowed to be angry. It's unacceptable to be angry if you're an addict. And when I got to that chapter, I was like, fuck that. Fuck this.
Fuck this, and then it couldn't
I'm
help
allowed
you,
to be
right?
angry.
Yeah.
And then it like stopped helping me.
Yeah.
Because that made me angry
Yeah.
more than anything else
Being
that I was
told not
holding
to
on
be
to.
angry?
Yeah, there's no justifiable anger. I'm like, there's a lot of tolerance for creepy old dudes here, but we're not allowed to be angry. Are you
Right.
kidding me? And like, look, AA helps so many people all of the time because it's free and it's accessible. But that doesn't mean we're not allowed to critique it.
Yeah.
And like that
Ask
shit
questions.
is culty as fuck.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to be angry.
Not allowed to ask questions.
I don't
You're
like
not
that.
allowed to express yourself.
I think expressing anger is divine.
Yeah.
And I mean, we touched upon it last episode that like gods are complex. They're not all love and light. Some of them are kind of
Fuck
fucked
no,
up.
they're not. They're not.
No.
They encompass the world around us. They encompass the world around us, reflect the world around us back to us. The world around us is not all sunshine and fucking rainbows. It's just not.
It's
reality.
emotional. Yeah.
So to love and light the shit out of everything and to be like, we're having a sound bath circle and here's all this stuff and glitter and yay and it's at the church. Like, what?
Only light. Only light.
Like,
No.
no, that, look, we all want to be happy. We all want to have good lives. But that does not come with fucking dissociating from reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And what scares me about when people get caught up in this is the level of denial, like the level of you can murder your kids and justify it
Yeah.
because you're, in the case of Lori, obsessed with a man who thinks he's powerful. You idolize him so much and you love him. Oh, you know what's funny about that? He also, when he met her, basically he held a conference for people that were like doomsday people. She attended. That's how they met. He was selling his books, very L. Ron Hubbard of him. And he basically told her like that she was his twin flame. He's like, we've been together many lifetimes. I love you. We've been married before. So that
I hate it.
So that happened, and that's how she got. But the sad thing about her case too, and something I wanted to kind of bring up with you, is that according to her family, she was always very spiritual, very like took to it very quickly, and she was raised a Mormon and raised in an extreme religion. And I think that I suspect that she was probably some sort of sensitive. So I'm wondering, as a sensitive, as a medium, how being brought up in an extreme religious situation can that push you over the edge a little bit more because you're having like out of the norm experiences that the people around you aren't? Like, can that really shoot you off into like La La Land,
Outer
you know?
space. Yeah. Well, yes, and in many different ways. We touched upon this a little bit during the psychic ethics episode, but there is no such thing as an unbiased medium.
Right.
And when you are a channel, whether you call yourself an empath or an intuitive
Or a way giver.
Was it a way giver? Oh my God.
giver.
I was on some Christian medium's website earlier. Way shower.
Way shower.
Anything to not say psychic, because that's the devil stuff. But when you're any sort of like psychic or spiritually sensitive person and you're generally
I just thought of, I'm a perpetual line stepper. And I forgot where that's from. Is that Dave Chappelle?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
We'll have to Google
All right,
it.
that was really funny. Line stepper. Okay, sorry.
Exactly, though. It's all these made up terms.
Yeah.
But if you are sensitive and in some way, and you grow up in these extreme religions or cults, then the things that you learn have influence over what it is that you are channeling. And you will offer whatever information comes to you, you are going to share it through the perspective of your experience. And it brings me back to those like prayer circles of little white ladies who are like, Jesus told me this. And it's like,
Jesus told me the gays shouldn't marry.
Is that what he said? Okay. But then when you are engaging in these spaces, you like attracts like when it comes to the spirits.
Yeah.
And when you're fucking around with this kind of like out of balance trickster energy, then you attract more of that. And those are the types of spirits that talk to you. And trickster can appear however trickster wants to appear.
Yeah.
You want me to be an angel? No problem. You want me to look like white Jesus? No problem. You want me to be a golden salamander? I'm on it.
And that's what I was thinking because this Lori woman said she was seeing angels.
And it's like, did she see giant white ladies with big white wings and blonde hair, because
Probably.
that's not what angels look like. Angels are fucking terrified.
Right.
She probably saw her shitty Mormon ancestors. And I think
Have you heard of the Alamo?
I think honestly that's who a lot of these like white Christians are channeling when they
Right.
say like the Holy Spirit told me, the Holy Spirit came upon me. It's like, no bitch, like that is your shitty ancestor. That is your
Right.
pioneer, settler, enslaver ancestor whispering sweet nothings in your ear and
Right,
telling you,
right.
sure bitch, I'm an angel.
What do we know about ghosts? They have biases too.
Exactly.
Just because like a conquistador
Yes.
is dead doesn't mean he doesn't like
Yes.
certain things. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
And like we all have fucked
ghosts
up
are people
ancestors.
too, remember?
Exactly.
Like we all have fucked up ancestors.
We all have fucked up ancestors. No matter where you're from, no matter who
Yeah.
you come from, like we all have fucked up. There's always somebody in the family who we don't
Yeah.
talk about Bruno.
Yeah.
And like there's always someone in your family who's a little bit fucked up, and we run the risk, especially when we're in these like cults that have no spiritual foundations,
Right.
that have no protections. We're just opening up our channel, especially if we're psychically sensitive without knowing it, to fucking anyone. And those are the most delicious people to the like dangerous tricksters, because they're like, I can
Right.
fuck with you, no problem. You don't know
Yeah.
shit about shit.
Yeah.
I can tell you whatever I want, and it's delicious to me.
And by them
Mm-hmm.
not educating themselves or opening themselves up to anything else
Mm-hmm.
in the spiritual world and demonizing psychics, mediums, witches, people that hold actual knowledge,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
or deities that hold actual
Demonizing indigenous
knowledge.
elders.
Indigenous elders.
Yes.
They're blinding themselves so much that they only believe one thing. So of course, anything that wants to
Mm-hmm. be
fuck with them,
God.
yeah, they're like, this is how it feels. They don't know that it maybe doesn't feel like that. They don't know. They're not willing to
Yeah.
educate and listen to other people.
And
Or,
when-
or to their ancestors that weren't shitty.
Yes, like,
because
if you
we also
grow
have
up-
ancestors that weren't shitty.
Right. And if you
Maybe.
grow up with shitty adults around you who are
Yeah.
teaching you shitty
Yeah,
stuff,
doing
when the
shitty.
not so shitty ancestors come through and they're like, hey, that's fucked up.
That's a
Try
demon.
this. You're going to be like, that's
Demon.
a demon. Ah!
Yeah, demon.
The devil. The
I
devil is trying to
masturbated
tell me
yesterday.
I'm racist. And it's like, fuck, no, that's the one good queer ancestor you have.
Yeah. It's like, excuse me. This
like,
is fucked up.
Can I help you? And they're like, away, Satan.
Yeah. And maybe they look different than them.
Yeah, an
it's a
actual
shadow person,
angel
but the
shows
shadow
up.
person's like, hey. Yeah, or like an actual angel's like, boo.
St.
and they're
Michael's like, I'm not trying to scare you, but
but I look like a walking eyeball pulled out of
Exactly.
someone's head. But sorry. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have any, their discernment is blinded.
majorly.
Because to have discernment, I think you need to have the ability to like listen to other people.
And have your opinions
have
challenged.
empathy,
Yes.
because that is lacking
Yeah. You have
in
to have
our community
empathy.
and in all, we know we're religious
just like whiteness
communities.
in general lacks empathy.
Yeah, there's people that don't think white privilege is real. There's
Yeah.
people that think black lives don't matter.
Yeah.
There's people that think blue lives
Are
are
a
actually a
thing.
thing.
So embarrassing.
That's the white people. That's what white people do, though.
Yes.
They go, no, but my thing is important too. No one fucking asked you.
like,
We're not talking about that right now.
We get it. You've been saying that
We
for
get
the last
it. You're important.
800 years.
We're not talking about you right now because you're not being killed by police.
Right. Yeah.
Fucking
Exactly.
dumbasses. It's really ugly, and that's true evil to me, honestly.
Yeah.
I watched that documentary and I was like,
That's actual
they're
evil.
shouting demon and shit. That is actual evil, and it scared
It's
the
in them.
shit out of me. It scared the shit out of me. That is, as a I didn't grow up with religion. Those people freak me out because, not only because they're fucking insane, but because their delusion is so strong, and that is powerful. Like you said about the people that get together and the numbers. It's the numbers and the. I wasn't built like to be that kind of a person, and I'm so grateful.
Right?
Look, I'm so grateful every day that I wasn't raised in the church. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
We come to it in different ways, but that was not my path. And I'm so grateful I had the
Dodged a bullet.
freedom to exist and to find witchcraft the way I did. And yeah, even if that means it's harder for me to find information or whatever, like that's what happened. But that shit scares me.
Yeah.
Cults scare me. Like, and people would probably say, well, you're a witch, so you're in a cult. It's like I'm like, a cult, get it? Oh,
I am in the
bitch.
occult, yes.
I am in the occult.
I do enjoy the occult, yes.
It's fucking scary. But the difference between being a witch and, not pushing it on other people, having your own beliefs, is just that you're not harming people. Like, we all do shitty things sometimes, but I mean, they're like actively repressing people. That's the difference. It's like, yeah, you can tell me I'm evil all you want, but what am I doing? Like, what? Look
Talking
at what
to my rose bush.
Yeah, like growing a fucking rose, like sprinkling rose petals on my head and turning around in a fucking circle. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck am I empowering myself? Oh, I'm sorry. Ooh, spooky. But like, you're, just actively like, it's
Evangelizing.
so ingrained
going
in
on
society,
mission.
politics. Yeah, the missions of Mormon people are just assimilation tricks.
Yeah. And like lots of Christian
You really need to watch Book of Mormon.
sects do that. They have like missions.
They want to baptize people.
Because they think that their white Christian culture is superior to whatever culture it is they're trying to like quote unquote help. And it's always people who are black or brown that they're trying to help
and save.
I do love Saved. That's one of my favorite movies.
Saved.
Yeah.
You have to fucking listen to Book of Mormon. There's a whole song, and it's the love ballad song, and it's called like, I'm gonna baptize her. I'm gonna take her in my arm. And it's about like, he's gonna baptize me, and it's like they're gonna fuck, but it's like baptism. It's hilarious.
Did you watch the Gwen Shamblin The Way Down documentary
No.
on HBO? She's another like white Christian cult leader, and it started through a weight loss program because she thinks all women should be
Skins?
thin. Yeah, super, super skinny. And her hair kept getting bigger and bigger as she became more and more evil. And then she married the guy who played Tarzan after divorcing her husband.
Like not Brendan Fraser.
No, the other
Like,
one.
not our Brendan Fraser.
No, the one before him. Joe, what's his name?
The guy like from the old school show.
And then they fucking died in a helicopter crash. And so the cult is like, what do we do now? Yeah.
What, did they die on purpose?
No.
Okay, that's a legit question though.
It was karmic, if you will.
Wow. Okay.
Which, I mean, the wheel of fortune just keeps turning.
Look, the wheel of fortune turn. You jump on that hamster wheel, you better strap in. But the wheel of fortune also is perpetual. I think it teaches us too that there's more than just one way of seeing the world, of doing things, and that's okay. It's okay to fluctuate. It's okay to come back. It's okay to like.
That's literally how it was before Christianity.
The song on the card, I chose Lauryn Hill. I love Lauryn Hill. Fucking genius. Miss Lauryn Hill, excuse me. And the song is everything. What is meant to be will be. Because that after winter must come spring. Change will come eventually. Like, even if you're in that shit, you can get out of it. And look, people might cap on you for it. Like, for real. Like the Nexium chicks, okay? Like, I'm glad you got out. But you did some damage. It's very public. You're going to get some shit. Yeah. All right. But like, you got out of it. Good for you.
Yeah.
You still got out of it. Your life is saved. Like,
as long as you don't fall back into it.
Just don't pretend you're not in it. Be in it still and all that shady shit. I wouldn't
perpetuate
touch those people with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Like the Grinch. I'd be like,
Well, and like, that's how it ends up.
Scary.
In like new age spaces, is that folks decide they don't want to deal with the limits and boundaries of Christianity, and so they start to dabble into new age culture, and
Right.
but they bring all that shit with them.
Maybe that's part of their transition out of it, but it's
know.
not. Don't touch witchcraft. Like, don't do that. Don't.
Right. Well, and the whole point of being a witch, like being a witch is a radical act.
Yeah, it's not.
You are rebelling against society by being a
Yeah.
witch. And if you're just upholding those same
Yeah.
values and perpetuating those same harms, then I don't think
not
you're a witch.
I don't think you're a witch either.
I don't.
Your love and light witchcraft is not
It's not
authentic
for me.
for me.
It's yucky.
And that's what's scary, is that people can take those things and make it a thing, which is where these cults and and it's like, then if you get people believing and doing these things, and they're straying from like what is the authentic way to fucking be a witch, and like,
Or they go like so far away from Christianity, but they don't look within, look to the magic in their blood.
yeah,
They attach to uprooted trees.
And then there's
and they just start like grabbing at whatever the fuck they can see.
Yeah.
And that's when you start like
We need
misappropriating
to talk
shit
about that.
like indigenous culture. I think the two things that I see the most misappropriated are indigenous culture,
smudging,
Hinduism,
yoga.
and I even see, honestly, some like white people wiling out saying that they're practicing voodoo.
Yeah,
And
voodoo.
it's like, but they call it voodoo. And it's like voodoo, hoodoo, and vodou are all different things, first of all. And like, you're wrong. You're immediately wrong. But I see a lot of, there was this one medium who Witch Talk was like talking about a lot.
In a good way or a bad way?
A very bad way. And they just have a really bad habit of appropriating indigenous spiritualities and like telling white people that they should practice like Santeria and like,
That's not good.
yeah,
And they're a white person?
very much a white person.
Right.
And when they get called in, they like make their account private and they're like, you guys just don't get it.
Fuck no.
You guys just don't get it. And like, look, we're pro boundaries with your audience, but if you fuck up, like, don't be a coward. Do a learn.
I thought you meant when they're a private account and when people join.
No.
So that their little racist, weird shit can just go on unnoticed.
No. Well, now they've taken to Patreon and they're doing weird shit on Patreon behind the paywall.
Yeah.
And it becomes like its own little cult
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
nonsense. It doesn't make sense. It's like that part in Sarah Marshall, Forgetting
This
Sarah
makes me
Marshall,
wanna
when she
fucking
points
punch
out
somebody.
all of like what's his name's different tattoos.
Yeah.
She's like, these are all completely conflicting ideologies. That's
Yeah.
what I feel like
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
see these folks
Yeah.
on social media. Just like,
People are lazy. People don't want to do work.
No.
People don't want to, white people don't want to not be able to touch something.
yeah.
They're like little kids at a museum with all their fingerprints on shit.
Yes.
I mean, look at Britain and the fucking museums there. You kidding me? Those things don't belong to you.
Blink, blink, blink.
You're profiting off of things you stole.
I heard that if Britain actually tried to repay India all that it stole, the entire country would go bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So, God save the Queen.
God save the Queen. Good luck, bitch.
Good luck, bitch. Sorry. So, yeah, no, within the witch community, there's stuff. There's, like I mentioned before, eclectic witchcraft does not mean you cherry pick other people's cultures.
Yeah.
It means you can practice different methods within your own ancestral bounds because gatekeeping is important sometimes.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. If you want to do some kitchen, if maybe you're more drawn to kitchen
Yeah.
magic, maybe, sea magic. You know what I mean? We all have our different things. That's what that means.
And if you don't know who your ancestors are and you can't, for whatever reason, start the research, like what's immediately accessible to you that isn't closed? Like when we go to kitchen witchery, like baking and cooking is
Yeah.
alchemy. It's
Yeah.
magic. If you really love gardening,
Yeah.
tending to plants, that's
What are you
magic.
drawn to?
If you really love
Start
caring
there.
for animals, that's magic. Like,
Yeah.
these are all different ways that you can engage in a spiritual practice and learn to be a good human without like
using a title.
misappropriating.
But you don't need these
Yeah.
titles. You don't need this like appropriative clout language. You don't need that. In fact, you shouldn't be sharing that if you are not well versed in your ancestors. Like, you shouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
not for you.
It's not content for
Just
your
because it's
TikTok.
just because it's beautiful, amazing, diverse does not make it yours because you're white. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't make it. Yeah, it just doesn't. And like you said, if you're someone who doesn't, you need to get a DNA test because those things are very prevalent.
Yeah.
Again,
the
ancestry
FBI already knows where we are.
sponsor
It's
us.
fine.
Like, find out what you are.
Find out what you are.
That's cool. And then from there, you could say, okay, well, I'm Mexican. Like, go into like that thread and be like, oh, I really like to cook and I'm Mexican. Like, go into what your ancestors did. Like, you can research that. That's something a little more detailed that you can, a thread you can pull on that may
What
be
part
easier
of
to
Spain
find.
are your ancestors from?
Yeah.
What part of Mexico are your ancestors from? Like, being
Research that town or village and like see where it's
where
just-
it leads you, because
it's
there are
a
spirits
whole thing.
everywhere. There are spirits everywhere, and they want to be known.
Yeah, and they want you to know
be known.
them.
Yes.
And that's where you like identify your guides and you start to get more specific and like, and it's fun.
It is fun.
But
The
lazy
treasure hunt is
witchcraft
fun.
is a no nowadays. You can't do that shit nowadays.
I agree. There's no
too much.
excuse.
Because the internet's done a lot of things, okay? It's made witches aware of each other in the past 8 years. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen saying a lot of different things, and there's going to be things like we were talking about today that come up, but there's also really good information like this podcast, okay? Like, there's people like us, a lot of people like us, our peers and friends that are encouraging people to lean into their ancestral practices because you can't just appropriate other people's shit.
Yeah.
That's not okay, and it's not going to work for you. And we've talked about this before. But like, that's the journey. It's a journey. It's not like a destination or a title you put in your Instagram bio. Spirit doesn't fucking care about that.
No.
It pisses me off.
And
It
if
really
you're-
pisses me off. But it needs
Yeah.
people need to learn that. And it's okay if you're listening to this today and you didn't know all these things. It's okay.
We all have to start somewhere.
I didn't know 8 years ago that using white sage was wrong for white people. I didn't know that. And look at how far I've come. I'm not ashamed to say that. I
We all
didn't
have to
know.
learn
We didn't know.
somewhere,
There were
yeah.
no resources for me to know that, really. You know? And so then you learn through being exposed to other things, and then you act appropriately.
Yeah, we change our behavior.
We change our behavior. We practice empathy. We lean into our ancestry. Because it's great. There's so many there's so much of this toxic shit out there that
There's
it's
so much.
that really you can't go wrong if you go lean into your ancestry. Like that really is the way to go.
It's true. It's
And
true. It gives you a foundation in
a
land,
fail-safe.
in people. I will say, like, be careful if you have Norse ancestry,
Right.
because that whole community has a white supremacy
Yeah,
problem.
that I was gonna
the
mention
spirits
that
are
too.
cool. Freya, amazing, love her. Odin has helped me a few times.
Yeah.
But just be critical.
That's the thing is like, yes, lean into your ancestry and the spirits, but beware of the humans.
Beware
that-
of the humans.
Beware of the humans that put these groups together because, like you said before, there are spiritual biases. There are biases. And in a lot of Norse stuff for me, I have a little bit of that in my ancestry. I don't touch it. I've never been drawn to it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll get there, but for now, like, I've never been into runes. A lot of people have been like,
either.
make rune things, and I just picked up the tarot. Like, I never I wanted to be astrology and tarot, sure, but like as a child, I never touched the runes. And look, I think there's a spiritual meaning for that. That's just not what
It's just not for you.
we can't do everything all
We
at
can't
once.
do all of it.
Okay.
It's true.
So, we all just have our preferences. That's fine. But I'm not there. I'm not there yet because just what I see is just, it's tainted, and that sucks because there's probably some really good things for me to find there. But I just can't do it because it's too white supremacy-ish right now for me. So be aware of that kind of stuff because, and then that's a whole nother, because it's tricky. It's trickster and it's tricky, but we have to be aware.
We have to be, what is it?
And then
vigilant.
We have to be vigilant and aware.
We have to be vigilant
of what we
and
consume
aware.
on the internet, truly, because
For sure.
if you're not on social media, you got a better chance of not falling into this shit.
Okay, like some of these new age stores.
Oh,
Some of these,
fuck,
not
you're
all
right.
of them, but a lot of these white new age store owners are fucked up too. Why? Especially the older, sorry, I respect my elders, but especially a lot of the older ones.
Yeah.
Like there's some...
I'm waiting on some tea about that particular situation from a non-white friend of mine.
There's some weird anti-blackness.
Yeah.
I don't touch dark magic shit. Like, the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I will buy a candle off of Amazon before I buy one from you.
I was at a store that was very Catholic heavy recently, and it was absolutely not. It wasn't a white person that owned it, or maybe they were mixed, but they wouldn't sell tarot there because
that's the devil's.
They fear the divination. They're like, oh, I don't want to. People don't know how to use it, and I don't want them to. Or pendulums, like anything divination. And
Catholicism,
I was like, huh. Okay.
You know what's ironic about Catholicism being so afraid of divination is that there's so many books in the Bible where Saul, David, they all turn to diviners to ask for help.
Yeah.
But just like everything else, they have to make it evil so that you don't have too much power.
Right. Mm-hmm. But I thought that was weird. And I was like, I would like to leave now, please. It's just weird.
A lot of new age shop owners are weird about brujeria and santeria. Any African diasporic spirituality, they're like, oh, that's black magic.
Yeah.
I don't touch black magic.
Yeah.
It's
hoodoo and voodoo, growing up, the projection I got from it was, oh, that's really fucking scary.
Yeah.
As a little white girl,
That's
it's
evil.
ooh, that's really scary. We don't touch that. That's the vibe. No one told me that, but that's just the cultural vibe.
That was the vibe, yeah.
And I'm like, that's not fucking true. But that's racism. Racism in spirituality.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. And you have to be vigilant.
It's tiring.
Critical.
It's exhausting.
A little bit skeptical.
It's tiring.
I think being a skeptic is good medicine.
It's tiring, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Being skeptical is very beneficial.
It keeps you out of cults, TBA.
Yeah, for sure.
Being skeptical keeps you away from the cults.
Sometimes you just look at something and go, there's something not quite right about this.
If it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. And it's sometimes if you're lucky, you have people in your life that call that out for you. You're like, oh yeah, that is a little sketch.
Yeah.
Get yourself, have friends and partners that hopefully you have people in your life that will call you out on that stuff if you're getting too far into it.
Bring you back to earth.
Because, this woman, the documentary I watched, Lori, I don't think they really did that for her.
No.
Because they were already Mormons.
Right.
So.
Exactly. Yeah.
Their guard was kind of down, I think.
Yeah.
She was saying some out there things, and they were like, oh, Lori. Oh, by the way, she had a podcast called, what was it called? Fire. It was called Fire on Fire or some shit. Where's my phone? I don't know.
Fire on Fire.
Fire, Lori Vallow podcast. Fire with Fire? What was it, babe? Do you remember?
Something like that, though.
Fuck. They had a podcast too, yeah. And it was her and her other friend talking about the rapture.
The fires of hell, yeah.
Yeah. Fire with Fire.
I'm
Is it
only
coming up?
finding podcasts about Feel the Fire.
Feel the Fire.
Feel the Fire.
It was called Feel the Fire.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. Feel that fire. The rapture in itself is racist because they're saying like, oh, only 144,000
Yeah.
people.
What is this? Noah's fucking Ark? Like, no.
Yeah, like what? Not even that. At least he took some of the animals.
Right.
Like they're not even including anybody.
They're like, just the whites
Just
are making
the
it to
white
the
Mormons.
5D.
Sorry. And then they're gonna spread the knowledge forever.
Good for them.
The Garden of Eden.
I don't want
is in
it.
Jackson County, Missouri.
I don't want it.
I am a Mormon, and a Mormon just believes.
That's wild to just believe.
Just believe.
Should we do some spirit candy?
Spirit candy.
Channeled messages from our spirit guides. This is actually something that I channeled from someone else's guides during a session, and I wrote it down afterwards because I really liked it. And this was their guides explaining to them, like, this is what we do. This is why we're here. We are here to catch you when you fall. We are here to help you move forward when your legs and your feet are tired, when your compass has found you lost. We are here to help cut through the conditioning that caused you to believe that your life does not have value. You are worthy because you are here. You are blessed because you exist. It is as simple as that. You are worthy and you are loved. And I think so many of these cults, whether it's Christianity or Teal fucking Swan, really bank on making you feel like you are broken and need to be saved. And when you drill that into somebody enough, they're going to subscribe to whatever like weird ritual, whatever it is, whatever shit it is that you're selling to them. They're going to subscribe to that to get better instead of looking within and turning to their spirits and finding the real help and guidance that they need.
Yeah.
And like, you know, we all have hard times and we all need help from outside of ourselves. But most of these toxic spiritualities make you think that their way is the only help that will save you. And that's just not true. That's just not true. And your guides help you to see that. They help you to see the way back to your path. So that's my spirit candy for today.
That was good spirit candy. There is a way back.
There's always a way back.
There's always a way back. They will always welcome you back. I love that. It's like you're not alone, even when you feel like you're alone.
Exactly. Exactly.
And not in a Santa Claus, creepy Jesus way.
Better watch out.
You better not cry, and you better not pout.
Fucked up.
You better not rebel against shit, because white fat Santa's coming to town, baby.
They start when you're a kid. I always tell my
God, that's
kids,
creepy.
it's okay to be mad at me, and it's okay to cry. These are all things that are totally fine. I am here however you need me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
I want them to know it's okay to be pissed at whoever's telling them what to do. And like, as difficult as it makes it to parent, I
Right.
know it's what's going to keep them from getting like sucked into some fucked up shit.
like a cult.
Exactly. Exactly.
Do we have any questions today?
We do. We had a couple come through on the third eye line, which is in our Instagram stories, by the way. Ooh, okay. This is actually a good one for this episode. What's your take on the difference between witchcraft and shamanism? So, in my opinion, a few different things. One, like witchcraft is something that you can find within yourself. Shamanism is something that has been widely misappropriated, and really it's a business in the United States, at least. It's a term that's not that different from starseed at this point in a lot of New
Right.
Age circles. True shamanism, which exists globally among pagan and indigenous spiritualities. And shaman isn't the right word, but I speak
right.
English, so that's the word I have.
Yeah.
You have to go to your elders. You have to seek out the Hierophant and learn the traditions, the practices, the guidelines, the disciplines in order to facilitate these types of journeys, experiences, modalities. With witchcraft, like you are a witch. If you decide you're a witch, you can be a fucking
very
witch.
accessible.
Yes. Witchcraft
And
is very
open.
accessible. You don't have to seek out elders if you don't want
No.
to. You
Or if
can
you're
do
not
your own
able.
thing.
Yeah.
And that's what's so beautiful, I think, about witchcraft is that
Yeah.
literally anyone can do it.
Yeah.
But I do think that to call yourself a true shaman requires that you seek out elders and teachers who show you the way. And
Yeah.
I also feel like, kind of like with curanderismo, like you don't get to call yourself a shaman. It is something that your community calls you. Something your community calls you. Like I don't like to call myself a healer. I don't.
Right.
But it's something that my community often calls me.
Right.
And I'm like, that's cool,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to claim that.
Yeah.
I receive, but I'm not going to claim
Yeah,
it.
that feels really weird. If someone were to call me I don't know what the fuck they would call me.
Right.
But yeah, just like something, I'd be like, okay. I'm not going to put that in my Insta bio.
I'm not going to put that in my bio.
That's a red flag for me in some cases.
I agree.
In some cases, not in all cases, if you're actually have done, you have ancestral like things in place and like education that you've gotten and work that you've
Yes.
put in to like have that knowledge. Cool. More power to you.
You've gone to the elders, you've traced your lineage, you're
Yeah.
doing the things.
But if you went to like shaman school on the internet, like no, that's not
like
real.
the guy at the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh
I
man.
think he's an internet shaman.
It's like being an internet like wedding, what is it? An officiant?
There's also this I'm actually one of those. LOL, I'm a wedding
I
officiant.
really want to be. No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of like, so, it's like that
It
version.
is, exactly. Like, I'm not a fucking priest just
But you
because
don't
I got a
put officiant in
certification.
your bio.
Fuck no. I just have it in case
It's-
somebody
it's
super
a
gay
tool.
wants me to marry them.
Exactly. So it's just a fun thing to kind of have in your back pocket.
Right.
You need some work. But being a shaman is like
It's like a responsibility.
community.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's like I think of like the center of a community and then like the shaman and then there's people around them. Like they are ingrained into their community in like an authentic way,
Yeah.
in a real way and not an internet
Yeah.
clout kind of way. So yeah, there's a big difference, I think, with that.
I think there's a big difference.
Big difference.
And I just be wary of anyone who calls themselves a shaman.
Yeah. Because like you said, shaman is not the word for every culture's shaman, if that makes sense. So that's
Exactly.
just the word that we have to reference. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I can't tell you any other examples right now off the top of my head, but every if you look and do your homework, you can find out. And
Yeah, for sure.
but it's likely that if you have to Google it, like you're probably not going to be able to get that knowledge if like it's buried or
Yeah.
if it's just not. Some cultures are rich and have survived a lot of shit. And we need to give them our respect.
And what you find on the internet
Do you know what I mean?
is only like what we're willing to share.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like seriously,
exactly.
like and I think going back to like the jealousy white people thing, like I think white people can be jealous of that sometimes and they want to take it for themselves and have that for themselves, but that's just not reality. And instead of wanting to take it, we need to respect it by leaving it alone.
And finding your own way. Go
And finding your own way. And it's maybe a bigger hole to dig, but that's just how it is. So not everybody can be a shaman.
Yeah.
yeah.
Jessica Lanyadoo posted something recently, and one of our followers actually tagged us in it because they said it reminded us of something we said, but I don't remember what we said. But Jessica Lanyadoo is an astrologer, and something she wrote is that, like, not everyone is meant to be a psychic.
Right.
And it's true. Like, not everybody's meant to be a spiritual practitioner. Not everybody's meant to be a shaman or a guide or a healer.
Not everyone's meant to be the trendy thing everybody wants to be right now because it's trendy right now.
We all have different destinies, and you're better off pursuing your own destiny than trying to do something because it's trending. Exactly.
Why do you want to be a witch? Because you actually feel it in your fucking bones? Or because it's popular?
Yeah.
Ask yourself that seriously.
What's the motivation?
And you'll know immediately what the answer is.
Yeah.
And you can fake it all you want till you make it. That's some trickster energy. But you're going to be faking it. Do you really want to do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Living a lie.
I don't know.
Sounds like a bummer to me.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Me either. Let's see.
Be easier to be a Christian, honestly.
Literally.
Be easier. But that's not who I am.
Someone asked, are chakras considered to be part of a closed practice? Well, like, neither one of us are Hindu.
No. I don't think we either of us have that information.
Yeah, I did a little, like, research, and what I found is that, like, chakras are generally, like, misappropriated and very much misunderstood in the Western world. And I mean, if you go to a yoga class in Los Angeles, you'll see it.
Yeah.
IRL.
Yeah. But I do think that energy sources in the body, I think they make sense. I think the general...
And it's okay to say, like, energy source.
Just don't say... I think it's like saying spirit animal.
Yeah,
it's
like, don't fucking say that.
Spirit animal.
Right.
Say
Animal
guide. Animal I like.
Yeah.
Animals. Yeah. Guide. Just it's just like
a spirit guide
that,
who happens to be an animal.
or
Yeah,
half
an
of
animal spirit. Like why can't you just not use that word?
Or tribe. Like don't say that ever again, please, white people. Ever again.
I had somebody who invited me to do like a tarot-thon, and they wanted to call us the Tarot Tribe, and I was like, I'm personally not comfortable with this. And she told me, well, Europeans called themselves tribes before da-da-da.
Wait, she tried to double down on it?
Yeah, and I was like,
look, if
you want me to do this, you have to change the name. And so she changed it to the Tarot Team.
Okay, cool.
And I'm like, even so,
like, look at like what's relevant. Like it's like Black Lives Matter. What needs attention right now? Do you know what I mean?
Like why would you argue with me on this?
Yeah. Why would you argue? Two, like just fucking change it.
Why do you gotta have it so bad? Like, yeah,
that's so stupid. Well, I have this information about the European. No, it doesn't matter. Native American shit gets appropriated, and
all
then
the time.
People have bridesmaids parties and call themselves, "Oh, look at my tribe of bridesmaids."
Yeah,
and they wear
God.
fucking feather headdresses.
Fucking teepee in the
so maybe
backyard
shut
by
the
their
fuck
swimming
up
pool
and change the name. That's so fucking annoying,
right?
dude. I'm sorry. That gets me fucking mad.
It's annoying.
Well, the Europeans. By saying a tribe, you're going to be pissing off and hurting a lot of people that are already very hurt right now. So maybe shut the fuck up and change it.
Shut the fuck up and change the name.
God.
Christ.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were like a well-known
Stupid.
practitioner too, and I was super like,
yeah.
Don't meet your heroes, kids.
Don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes. And when you think about terms like tribe and spirit animal, these were terms that settlers forced upon indigenous people who didn't speak English and then want to take back.
Right. Yeah.
Like, no, just
That's true. It's very true. Those weren't even what they called themselves.
No.
I don't know if this is true because I'm not a Native American, but I did hear one Native American from a tribe, I cannot remember, I apologize, say on a podcast that they don't even have spirit animals.
No.
Like, it's not even a thing.
It's not like a universal thing.
So, yeah, it's a thing that maybe certain tribes didn't even have. So they're just like, what the fuck? And then they're mixing, like, Native American art and costume or whatever and clothes with these words that they, like...
Just chaos.
It's weird.
Fucking
these generalized chaos. Like things, and it's like
it all comes down to like a stereotype.
So yeah, chakras, like maybe we don't reference them in that same way. But like I was saying, the parts of your body, you know, like your intuition, your gut, your like solar plex or whatever, like your fire, your belly and fire. There's other things that make sense about the placements.
I usually say like energy sources,
Yeah.
or I'll talk about the literal like body part. Like there's this type of energy in your tummy. There's this type of energy
Your throat.
under your heart space, in your throat.
Your throat is blocked. Just say your throat.
Yeah. Well,
Your throat energy. Just-
Something else I learned about chakras is that like they don't actually sit in one space. They're very fluid and can move.
Oh,
They
well, there you
can
go.
be associated with one neighborhood. So it's like
Yeah.
Americans
I
have
didn't know
created
that.
this whole color chart.
Yeah.
And Hindu people are like, what the fuck is
And they
that?
sell like crystals with the.
Yes.
We're doing an episode on crystals
Yeah.
next season.
It's on the list.
It needs to happen.
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Me too.
But yeah, there's it's all these like commercialization of
It's just
chakras.
more new age bullshit.
It's more new age
More
bullshit,
new age
and it's
bullshit.
confusing to people.
Yeah. If you're not like actively doing your research and becoming a part of the community and you're not from the community, like just leave it the fuck alone. Just leave it alone.
Then it gets into like you said, as I do want to mention this. I know this episode's long, but like how this new age shit goes into the alt-right QAnon
Yeah.
ultra
didn't even
conservative
touch on that,
pipeline. We didn't
but
even
it's
talk about that,
true.
but I know we were like going backwards, but we have to like mention it maybe.
Absolutely.
Because it's confusing, but then it makes sense.
We touched upon this, I remember, during the Twin Flames episode,
Yeah.
because one of the biggest authors who's referenced, I can't remember what her name is, Barbara something or other, a white lady who wrote a lot of books between the 70s and the 90s and is credited for much of what we know about Twin Flames. Her quotes are all over QAnon, alt-right web, like
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah.
All of oh, and then they have this thing called pastel Q, which is like new age spirituality quotes, mostly gaslighting quotes, and it's usually on like pastel background with cute letters.
Oh, got it.
So that's how they became pastel Q, and it's
Right.
basically indoctrinating like women and femmes, white
Right,
women
right,
and
right.
femmes into QAnon, and then they do weird
I've
things
seen
like the Save the Children hashtag, which they like make up ways that children are being human trafficked and completely ignore
the ways they actually
the very
are.
obvious ways that they actually are being trafficked
Right.
through things like concentration camps at our borders where
Yes,
brown kids and black
yes.
kids are being held, through the foster care system and things
Yeah.
like they just like make shit up, like what's Maxwell and the other white dude who
Yeah, Jeffrey
got to
Epstein.
disappear and get away with everything. Like
Yeah.
nobody's paying attention to them, but we're gonna make up a whole hashtag for something fake.
I feel like it started with that and then sort of like, now it's just like,
Just goes wild.
well, it's like someone says something on the internet and then someone goes, that's not true. It's this. And then people go, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. And then they just, that's the internet. That's the consequence
and then it just
of
gets
it.
wild.
And it gets out of control. And that's trickster. That's
Yeah.
fuck. Because telling a story, making something up and having people go, what? That's trickster energy.
Yeah.
I can't. This shit pisses me off so much. I don't even like. I don't even like go
Okay,
there.
and then it brings us back to
But maybe I should.
star seeds and
Yeah.
Nazism
Yeah.
and anti-Semitism and like reptilian shit. All of that is all over New Age spirituality, and it is all fucking over alt-white,
think
alt-right,
Alt-white.
alt-white.
That's
The
hashtag alt-white.
alt-whites.
Look, you have
The
to
alt-whites
remember.
love that shit.
You have to remember that Nazis, racist groups, are not stupid.
No.
They also used spirituality in a toxic way.
Absolutely.
They're not stupid
No.
people. Star seeds. They're not going to be like, we're about the star seeds. But they are, and they will use that to kill a bunch of fucking people that didn't deserve it and commit genocide.
Literally.
And now it's showing up again. We don't even know it's associated with them because it's secret. It's like a secret little.
It's buried.
You have to pay attention.
There's something about the secrets. Okay, but you know what I will say is that my dad, like, bless his colonized heart, became a Knight of Columbus. I'm like,
What's that?
you don't see the irony in this, sir?
Oh, a
You
Knight
don't
of
see an
Columbus.
irony. So the Knights of Columbus is a Catholic men's fraternal organization.
Okay.
And I'm like, you don't see the irony in being a knight of your colonizer?
Right. Yeah. Maybe he liked the people.
But they all talk shit about the Freemasons. So I'm like, if you guys hate the Freemasons, maybe they're up to something
that would
not
be,
so
you
bad.
know what? We should maybe do an episode on fraternities.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Fraternal groups, yeah.
But they smell weird to me.
I agree. I think anything where a bunch of men gather and we're
together
not
in
allowed to
secret
know,
and they wear
it can't be
hoods.
good. It can't be good.
It can't be great. Maybe it's hard. Maybe they're just like, doo-doo-doo, but likely not. So I don't know.
Anyway, starseeds,
Anyway.
reptilians, Lumerians, Atlanteans, all of those dog whistles. Yeah. And like, I don't disbelieve that it's possible that there was this fucking magical group of mermaids who existed and had some cool shit under the sea. Absolutely. Mermaids exist all over the world
Yeah.
in many different folklores and mythologies.
Well, that's a topic right now.
But
Speaking of racism.
I know. Speaking of racism,
The Little
and
Mermaid trailer
mermaids,
just came out.
people
Beautiful.
are so mad.
And they're mad because she's a black girl.
Yeah, they're like, but the original story was Danish.
Was Danish.
There are Thai
What?
mermaids. There are African mermaids.
There are African
There are
mermaids.
mermaids all over the world.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. Suck a dick.
Suck a big old. It's a fucking Disney movie. And
Fucking Disney movie.
it's inclusive. For once. Shut up.
Christ.
That's how racist America is.
Yeah. Oh, suddenly they care about a children's story.
Suddenly grown white men care about a mermaid movie.
Yeah. The fuck out of here.
God, that's anger. I have a lot of anger. But that's good. We can have anger.
Right?
We're allowed to be angry.
We don't gaslight our emotions.
No.
We let them help us to make good decisions.
Yeah.
Motivate us to create change in our world.
We have to speak on it.
Fuck yeah.
Watch yourselves. Watch your back.
Be careful in those new age spaces, my friends.
Be careful who you befriend.
Use your discernment.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
If you're in a group and you're like, hey, where's all this information coming from? Like, there should be a reasonable trail of breadcrumbs to see.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There should be.
This is something that's important to me in my practice.
Cite your sources.
Exactly. Like when I'm sharing information, I talk about who it came from
Yeah. Yeah.
and who they got it from.
yeah.
And I always encourage people when you're seeking out spiritual practitioners, when you're seeking out spiritual communities, if you ask these questions and they can't answer them,
Or they won't answer them.
it's not good.
That's there you go. You're
not
out.
good.
You have every right
Red
to
flag.
ask questions. These people have no power over you at all unless you give it to them.
Get the fuck out of there.
So please be safe.
Be safe.
Use your discernment. Your 5D. Use your 5D.
Your 5D discernment.
Level 5D. It's like
I
a
was
hair
so
color.
confused. I was
formula.
like, 5D? Is that like the cell
Is it like
service?
HD? Like, I don't know. Is this a new TV that's sharper?
Isn't
Like,
that what our phones say?
I know, like, oh shit.
LTE or
Your
something?
phone is brown. You're a demon. Your phone says
My
4D.
FBI agent is listening to this conversation.
They're like, our FBI agents are like, yeah, that's good. They're all eating popcorn, like, yeah.
these bitches are amusing.
These bitches are amusing.
Order another pizza.
Order another.
I mean, I feel like we did it.
We answered. I was like, where are we in the podcast? We answered the questions.
We answered the questions. We did Spirit Candy.
Okay, and that's season 2.
That's the show, folks.
That's season 2. Thank you for listening. We'll be back. We're gonna take a break. Season 3
I think it's coming in February.
is coming, I think, in February.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted, but we really hope you enjoyed.
Enjoy your winter break.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram.
It's a new
where we'll still
year.
be posting.
New year, time to get rid of attachments. Let's take stock of what's going on around us and yeah.
Take care of yourselves, my friends.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. You can follow the podcast at Third Eye Bind Pod on Instagram. There, submit your questions via the Third Eye line by sending us a voice message or text DM. The show is available wherever you listen to podcasts and for you to watch on YouTube. Get early access to episodes and even monthly one-on-one sessions with us by joining our Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/thirdeyebind. Third Eye Bind is produced and edited by Mike Realm. Hosted by Kaitlyn Grania and Laura Wong. Music by Mike Realm. Set design by Laura Wong. You can find Laura on Instagram at Lady Moon Co. And you can find Kaitlyn on Instagram at Spirit Garden Tarot.